Hey guys, what is up? My name is Landon and welcome to the Jersey Zone. With the Stanley Cup Finals starting on Saturday, I wanted to take a quick look at the series here and give you guys my prediction on who I think is going to win the Stanley Cup. Now, I'm personally really looking forward to the series. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. You have quite a few storylines going into it. Obviously, the big one being that neither of these teams have ever won a Stanley Cup before. Now, it's a little bit of a different story with Vegas because they've only been in the league since 2017, so not really that long. On the Florida side, they've been in here since 1993. Well, been in the league since 1993, so it's a little bit of a different story there, but either way, we're getting a new Stanley Cup winner, which I am very excited about. I like that a lot. Another one that's very interesting is the Jonathan Marchessault and Riley Smith storyline. Both of those players used to be on Florida, and during the expansion draft, Florida traded away Riley Smith, so Vegas would take Marchessault in that expansion draft. Maybe those two players are looking for some kind of revenge, although it's been quite a while. It's been like, what, 6 or 7 years now? They're probably over it at this point, but I assume that somewhere in the back of their minds, they're probably thinking, yeah, it would be nice to kind of get back at them a little bit. And there's a lot of other storylines that maybe we'll dive into some of them later on in this video, but before we do fully get into it, if you guys are new to the channel and you like hockey content, please make sure to subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll take a look at each team individually, just quickly talk about them a little bit. Starting us off with the Florida Panthers, let's talk about their journey. So first of all, I feel like their journey started even before the playoffs because they barely made it in. They just squeaked in, and honestly, the biggest reason for that is the Pittsburgh Penguins kind of choked it at the end of the season there. Obviously, the big game that everyone talks about is their loss to the Chicago Blackhawks, a 5-2 loss that basically made it so Florida was able to get into the playoffs and them kind of fall out. Now, Florida's reward for making it into the playoffs was playing the historic President's Trophy winning Boston Bruins. And throughout those first couple of games there, it didn't really look too good for Florida. They started Alex Line in those first 3 games, went down 2-1 in the series, obviously then going down 3-1 in the series, but they managed to fight back and win that series in 7. It was kind of crazy at that point, and obviously the run did not end there. They ended up beating the Toronto Maple Leafs in 5 games and then sweeping the Carolina Hurricanes in 4. This has been such a crazy run for the Florida Panthers. Obviously, Sergei Bobrovsky has been a massive part of it. He has been phenomenal in these playoffs, but it's very funny to look back on those first 3 games against the Boston Bruins and seeing Alex Line's name there instead, which I understand why they started him. Down the stretch, Alex Line was a massive reason on why the Panthers made the playoffs. He was very, very good, and I would even say in the playoffs, he was kind of good as well. Like, he made some really phenomenal saves, like just absolutely amazing, but also the goals that he gave up were atrocious and just absolutely awful, so it was very weird. Of course, in game 4, though, they did start Sergei Bobrovsky, and that's starting to look like one of the smartest moves that Paul Maurice has ever made in his career, which is kind of strange because you're paying Sergei Bobrovsky $10 million. You'd think that he would be that all-star goalie, and sometimes he is, and sometimes he's not. He's very hit or miss, at least in my opinion. Some seasons he's absolutely phenomenal, others not so much, and with this season, during the regular season, he looked to be just okay, like maybe a little bit bad, but honestly, like I said, in these playoffs, he has been just lights out. Matthew Tkachuk has also been insane in these playoffs. In the last series against the Carolina Hurricanes, he scored 3 out of the 4 game-winning goals, and 2 of those came in overtime, the last one coming with only like 4.2 seconds left in the 3rd period, so just insane, phenomenal play by him. But it's not like those 2 guys are the only reason Florida is here. Like, the rest of the roster is also playing great. You know, you have Sam Bennett, who, I'll be honest, I'm a Leaf fan, so that series made me really not like him, like absolutely hate him, but he is a guy that I would love on my team. He makes those kind of borderline hits, and he is a good player. You have Carter Verhaeghe as well, who I feel like hasn't really been talked about a whole lot. I will also say, you know, Barkov, I feel like has been really underrated in these playoffs. Like, no one's really talking about him, although he had a fantastic goal. I think it was in game 3 against the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, that was just unbelievable. One of the best playoff goals I've ever seen. It was disgusting. On the back end, you have Brandon Montour, who has been talked about a lot. Radko Gudas as well. Once again, one of those guys that I personally do not like, but I would love if they were on my team. Florida is just a well-built team, and it kind of feels like it shouldn't be this big of a surprise that they're in the finals. Not saying that I wasn't surprised, because I definitely am, but if you kind of take a look back here and, you know, think about last season, they won the President's Trophy, and then going into the offseason, you know, they made that big trade with Calgary, getting Tkachuk, trading away Huberdeau and Weegar, but that was like the biggest move that they made. They also lost Claude Giroux as well, but like outside of that, it feels like the roster really hasn't changed that much. I think a lot of people still expected them to make the playoffs this year, but they didn't expect them to like crawl and scratch their way into the playoffs like they did, and I just feel like if they didn't squeeze into the playoffs and made it a little bit more comfortably, let's say still even as that second wild card and going on the exact same run, I don't think that they would be seen as big of underdogs in these playoffs here. But now let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights and how they got here. In round 1, they faced up against the Winnipeg Jets, beat them in 5, wasn't really too big of a deal. In round 2, it was a little bit more of a war with the Edmonton Oilers. They did end up winning that one in 6 though, but there was a lot of stuff in that series. I mean, their penalty kill was not very good because it was against the Edmonton Oilers power play, which was amazing this year, and also there was a lot of dirty stuff, both on Evander Kane's side. There was the Pietrangelo slash. Apparently, I had a hard time saying Pietrangelo there, but, his slash was pretty dirty. There was a lot of other stuff as well, but it was definitely a war that they ended up winning in 6. And then, of course, we have the series that just finished against the Dallas Stars. That ended in 6, although it feels like Vegas should have closed that out earlier because they did have that 3-0 series lead in Games 4 and Game 5, though. Dallas 1 did come out to play, that is for sure, but it also kind of felt like Vegas took their foot off of the gas pedal there. It almost feels like Vegas already thought they had won the series and they didn't really need to try anymore, but they definitely woke up for Game 6, though. They absolutely dominated that game, especially the fourth line of the Vegas Golden Knights. Nicholas Waugh, William Carrier, and Keegan Colasar, they were so good all night long. It feels like every single time they were on the ice, they were in the offensive zone, creating either good pressure, scoring a goal, or just doing good work in that zone. They very much impressed me. Jack Eichel was also really good in that series. I know he didn't score a goal, but he looked great. He had so many opportunities. He either got robbed by Ottinger or just hit the post, hit the crossbar, whatever it may be. So it kind of feels like he's due. Florida definitely needs to watch him in this series, that is for sure. It would not surprise me if he got a ton of goals in the final here. Same with Jonathan Marchessault, who has basically been on fire since round 2. He didn't have a great round 1, but since round 2, he has been very, very good. Adin Hill has also been amazing in these playoffs. He's not played every single game for the Vegas Golden Knights, but he does still have a .930 save percentage. That's definitely helped out by the very good Vegas Golden Knight defense with, Pietrangelo on it, Martinez, Shea Theodore. It's definitely not that surprising that Vegas is in the finals, even though they did miss the playoffs last year. That was mostly due to how many injuries they had. This year, they were a lot more healthy, so definitely made it a lot easier for them. But getting into my prediction, who do I think is going to win the Stanley Cup? I do feel like this is going to be a very close series. Both teams definitely have a chance here, but my prediction, I have the Florida Panthers winning the 2023 Stanley Cup in 6 games against the Vegas Golden Knights. To me, it just really feels like the Florida Panthers are unstoppable. Bobrovsky is too good right now. Good luck scoring more than 2 goals on him because he's only allowed that to happen once in his last 9 games. Tkachuk has that clutch factor to him, and it really seems like the whole team has kind of bought into the underdog story, whether they should be an underdog or not. It looks like the entire team kind of feels like they are and are using that to boost themselves up. Now, of course, I did do a channel vote, so we had 207 votes on this. 67% said Florida was going to win, 33% said Vegas. I am kind of surprised that it's so much in Florida's favor, even though I do also think Florida is going to win, but I kind of thought it would be a lot closer. But yeah, it kind of seems like maybe Florida really isn't the underdog coming into the series, at least according to my channel vote, but I would love to know what you guys think about this series. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and my TikTok. Links are all in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.